Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about violin fingering in first position. Before I switch over to our finger chart, first I want to make sure everyone remembers what the musical alphabet is. Just like the regular alphabet, we start with A. And we go on note by note. D, E, F, G. After G, we start the alphabet over again, so A, B, C, D, and so on. If we get to A, G again, we switch back to A. We also have some symbols that change the notes a little bit, and you might have seen some of these already. We have a sharp sign, which raises a note a little bit higher. We have a flat sign, which lowers a note. And we also have the natural sign. And you might see any of these things. These things are called accidentals, which we're not really going to go over too much today, but it's good that you know the name of these things. So let's go over to our finger chart. You can go to the description below to find this printout, and you could print it out and work along with me. So the first thing I would like you to do is going to be to label the strings of our finger chart. So over the string on the left, of our finger chart, this is going to be your biggest string, which is your G string. Right next to that, we have the D string. Right next to that, we have the A string. And directly next to that, in your thinnest and highest string, is your E string. Over on the left of the chart, I'd like you to put the finger. So most of you probably have finger numbers on your instrument, finger tape on your instrument, and that's for where your fingers are going to go. So right here is where your first finger is going to go. This second line is where your second finger is going to go, and this is third. So this 2 right that we wrote down is what we kind of consider a high 2. Let's put a little something in here for a low 2. So we'll just put a 2 and a down arrow so we remember that that is a low 2. So let's start filling in this chart. We're going to start on our lowest string, that's a G string. If we remember back to our alphabet, after G comes A. So we put down our first finger, that is now an A. Then if we skip over the low 2 for now, and we go to the high 2, that's going to be a B. So if we lowered that note, or we went to a low 2, that would make us a B flat. And once again, you can fill this along with me, fill yours out, and put it next to your music when you're learning it. It would be a good idea. After the B, our third finger is going to be a C. Then we switch over to the D string. So after we put our first finger down on the D string, that turns it into an E. High 2 is an F sharp. A low 2 is an F natural. I'm going to put a natural sign, but usually if you don't see a natural sign next to one of these notes, if you don't see any accidental next to it, it's going to mean that it's natural today. And then after that F sharp, where our 3 is, we're going to put a G. Then we are on to the A string. On the A string, we have first finger is a B. Second finger high is a C sharp. Second finger low is a C natural. And then our third finger is a D. Finally, we have the E string. And with the E, our first finger starts out as an F sharp. Our second finger high is going to be a G sharp. Second finger low is just a G or G natural. Let's put a natural sign. And then after our G sharp, or our third finger, is going to be an A. So let's take a look at what these notes would look like on the staff. So first, we need to know what kind of notes these are, and we know it's a treble clef notes. So let's make a little treble clef. Okay, so our G starts actually below the treble clef, so we need to draw some ledger lines. So we have 1, 2, and right below it, in the space, that's G. That's your open G string. Then we have A, so we keep those 2 ledger lines. But this time we've gone up a step, and now we are on A. Next, we just have 1 ledger line, B, and then where our 3rd finger goes, we have C. And that's going to be right in the middle of the ledger line. So we had G, A, B, C. If we were to add a flat before the note, that would change it into a B flat or sharp. Here's a C sharp. So we can change those notes if we wanted to. Next, we're going to move on to the D string. So open D, just like that, right below the first line. D. Then we have E. And we have F. Notice that we just keep going up like stairs. F and then G. So D, E, F, G. Then we move on to the staff below. Let's put another treble clef sign up there. Okay. So now we have A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, D. And then finally we're going over to the E string, and we have E, F, G, and we have to do a little ledger line because we have to keep going up, A. So E, F, G, and A. And you might notice that I started pointing these stems here down. I pointed those down, but that's not a big deal. It's just something that we do once the note heads go past a certain line. But what really matters is where the note head is. So these are all of the notes that you will be able to play in first position with your first 3 fingers on the violin. If there's any parts that you want to watch again, I would suggest you do that. Memorizing where these notes are will really help you learn your music quickly, and good luck.